This is KGW News at noon.
Our top story now at noon, another home, another bed. Terry Zinzer, the woman in this video who is accused of breaking into a Northeast Portland home, climbing into a child's bed last month, is supposed to be back in court this afternoon after allegedly breaking into another home and climbing into someone else's bed last Friday. The Multnomah County DA's office didn't initially charge her with a crime, but now she's charged with burglary and assault. We also have learned that she has a history of refusing mental health treatment. She's expected to have a hearing later today to see if she is fit to stand trial. Hello, I'm Christine Pitawanich. Zinzer was supposed to be in court yesterday but refused to leave her cell. If she can't make an appearance, the court will send her to the Oregon State Hospital in Salem. Now, we know this is quite a complicated story, so KGW's Pat Doris is walking us through the timeline of events involving Zinzer.
Drew Doty told me his mom came home from work Friday to find a stranger in her bed.
So she unlocks the door to find a person sleeping in her bedroom under her blanket. At first she thought it was my sister, but then discovered that it was a random person, a random woman in her bed. She yelled at them to get out, then realized that it was better to just leave the apartment and call the police.
Drew said his mom went back in to check on things and found the woman was hiding in a closet wearing his mother's clothes. Let's take a look at her run-ins with police just this summer. On July 21st, she was cited by police for theft in Gresham. The DA's office did not charge her with the crime. On August 13th, she was cited by police for criminal trespass, and the DA's office did not charge her with the crime. On September 12th, she allegedly broke into the home of Kelsey Smith, an act caught on home security video. At first, the DA's office said it would not charge her with the crime. The DA said she needed mental health help, not jail time. Later, when it became obvious she was not getting either, the office did press charges, and she was indicted last week. On September 19th, a warrant went out for her arrest after she skipped a hearing in Clackamas County that was supposed to figure out if she was mentally fit to proceed with a separate theft case against her there. On September 27th, she was arrested again, this time for theft and disorderly conduct and giving false information, and the DA's office did not charge her. She was released from jail. 3 days later, this last Friday, September 30th, she was arrested after apparently breaking into the apartment on Northeast 17th and sleeping in the mother's bed.
Now to another big story a lot of people are talking about. A Portland City Commissioner is now asking voters to consider an alternative plan to change Portland's form of government. Last night during a news conference, City Commissioner Mingus Mapps laid out his alternative to the city charter plan. An update to the charter is already on the ballot for November, but Commissioner Mapps has come out against it. First, though, here's the Charter Commission proposal that will be on the ballot. The city would be divided into 4 districts with 3 members elected from each district. That makes a total of 12 city council members. But in Mapps' plan, there would be 7 members elected from 7 different districts.
One of the, I would say, faults with the multi-member district system that's been proposed is that you would divide the city, frankly, into not very many quadrants, I think 4. And then you have 3 people within each of those multi-member districts. So frankly, I think that representation of knowing who actually is accountable for the problems that you face when you open the doors every day, it gets diluted in a way which I think is most unfortunate.
An advisory group of 20 people put together the Charter Commission plan that's on the ballot. They finalized the measure after studying feedback from the community for a year and a half. In a debate last week, supporters of the Charter Commission plan explained the benefits of electing 3 members per district.
Single-member districts, because they're smaller, elected officials become very insular in their priorities. So having multi-member districts does help to foster that collaboration between elected officials, especially on crucial issues like affordable housing.
Commissioner Mapps' plan would only come up for a vote if the current ballot measure fails next month. It's a complicated but important issue. You can find much more information on KGW.com, and that includes a link to last week's full debate. Now to some of your local headlines. An independent investigation into scandals within the National Women's Soccer League found what it calls a systemic pattern of sexual, emotional, and verbal abuse and misconduct. This involving multiple coaches, victims, and teams, including the Thorns. The report also revealed that the Thorns allegedly not only interfered with the investigation, but also with an inquiry into sexual abuse allegations against former head coach Paul Riley. And new home security video is giving us a better look at the man who slashed tires on dozens of cars in Portland's Roseway neighborhood. You can see him caught on video, and you can see him going up to a car with a knife, quickly slashing the tires, then walking away. Police say more than 50 people woke up Saturday with vehicles left sitting on their rims. The man targeted cars between Northeast 72nd to 77th, and police are asking anyone with a damaged car to report it. In Bend, congressional candidates Lori Chavez DeRemer and Jamie McLeod Skinner had some heated words for each other during an hour-long debate last night. The two went back and forth on some pretty big topics this election season, like gun control issues, homelessness, and inflation. They're vying for Oregon's 5th district, which was drawn up after the 2020 census. Our sister station in Bend, KTVZ, reports that the district has a nearly equal number of Republicans, Democrats, and non-affiliated voters, making this a very contentious race ahead of next month's election. And those are some of your local headlines. Now to a big national story. A judge has dismissed charges against 7 people in the Flint water scandal. The group includes 2 former state health officials blamed for deaths linked to lead poisoning. The judge's decision won't affect the charges against former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder. That's because he faces different charges and a different court will decide his fate. You may recall, though, that this all started back in 2014. The city of Flint's water managers, appointed by then Governor Snyder, took the city off of a regional water system and began using the Flint River instead to save money. The choice resulted in lead from old pipes getting into the city's water supply. 2 state health workers were charged with involuntary manslaughter in 9 deaths linked to the poisoning. But the judge dismissed the case today, pointing to misguided prosecution and accused the state of misusing the criminal justice system. Back to our area, taking a live look out our Wells Fargo Skycam. Gosh, it looks different than it did yesterday. A little bit foggy, definitely a little cooler, but still doesn't feel like October, Rod.
Well, I mean, right now it's in the 50s in parts of our area, so, you know, that certainly looks more like October with the cloudy skies up and down I-5. Just starting to see, these are all low clouds on the visible satellite picture. They're bumping up against the Cascades. These are breaks in the cloud cover over the Coast Range. Starting to see these breaks open up, so that's a sign visually that the cloud deck is starting to erode down around Eugene. But for now, it's really dark outside. There it comes. All right, we have overcast skies for the most part still. Here's Cannon Beach live. We believe the coast will stay cloudy all day. You get out into the gorge, by the time you get to Hood River, it is sunny. And here's the Oregon Veterans Home camera all the way out in the Dalles. And it's been a beautiful morning, 73 with that sunshine. But Portland, now visibility is improving. It was foggy over the West Hills, so that fog is lifted. 59 is the temperature. And we will need sun to get up into the 70s. So I still believe eventually we'll clear out. Eventually we'll at least get up to 70 degrees. Now at that point, to Christine's point, it won't feel like October. So we'll have more on this warm and, yes, dry weather pattern coming.